you to check with that before you out here choosing.
So let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, "They are trying to kill me"? Yeah. What's going on?
But Martin, unfortunately, show business at a certain point in his life got the best of him. And when that happens, you see it happening. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Martin Lawrence is 60. Now, his secrets finally get revealed. From battling fame to shocking public breakdowns to being accused by his own co-star, Martin says the pressure almost broke him.
You ring the bell, you call the nursery, you got, I on my child. They just look at you like, you nasty.
From the moment he was spotted walking in traffic, yelling, "Fight the power," with a loaded gun in his pocket, the world knew something was very wrong.
Between the two, and the network has a lot to do with that as well. They take care of the star, then everybody else is a piece of shit.
Like Diddy, Martin's fame hid dark truths. Now, after years of silence, those secrets are coming to light.
Well, peace and a bottle of hair grease to you too, bro.
Now let's start with the tragic event that happened to him, which gave everyone a big scare. Martin Lawrence was seen walking in the middle of a busy street in Sherman Oaks. People were driving by and couldn't believe their eyes. Lawrence looked confused and angry. He was yelling loudly and acting strange. One person said he looked like a madman. Some people were scared, and others just stood and watched. It wasn't something you see every day, especially from a famous actor like him.
You see me, I run out, I got a shirt on. You see Mike, he half butt naked.
The police were called right away. They came quickly and found Lawrence standing in the road at the corner of Tyrone Avenue and Ventura Boulevard. This is a very busy area with lots of traffic. What made the situation even more serious was that Lawrence had a gun in his pocket. It was loaded, which means it could have gone off and hurt someone. He was yelling things like "fight the power" and using strong and angry words. A man named Aaron Berg, who saw the whole thing, told the news, "I couldn't believe it. That's Martin Lawrence. He was yelling and fighting the police. It was crazy." The police officers managed to get Lawrence out of the street safely. They didn't hurt him, but they knew something was very wrong. They took him to Sherman Oaks Hospital first. After some checks, they moved him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, a big hospital in Los Angeles. Doctors there started looking into what was going on with him. At first, the police said Lawrence had not been taking some medicine he was supposed to. That might have caused a seizure, which can make someone lose control of their body and mind. Later, his doctor, William Young, said Lawrence was not sick in the usual way. He said Lawrence was extremely tired and didn't have enough water in his body. This is called dehydration.
Thank you for saying that we look good and that I look good, because there's a rumor out there that I had a stroke, man. That's totally not true. So I just want to clear that up. But I thank everybody for the concern and the love.
The doctor explained that when someone works too hard and doesn't rest or drink water, it can make the body and brain stop working right. A hospital spokesperson, Ron Wise, told the press that Lawrence was in fair condition. This means he wasn't in serious danger, but he needed rest and help. Ron said he didn't know if Lawrence had really skipped his medicine or not.
So let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, "They are trying to kill me"? Yeah. What's going on?
As police were getting ready to remove him from the street, Lawrence made a strange joke. He said, "I always told everybody they'd be coming for me someday." Some people laughed nervously, but others felt it was sad. It sounded like he knew something like this might happen one day. The police also started to check if the gun he had was legal. If it wasn't, he could be in trouble for carrying it. Many fans began to worry about Lawrence. They hoped he would get better soon and take a break to rest and heal. But this scary street scene was just the beginning. 3 months later, Lawrence was back in the news. This time, it happened at Burbank Airport. He was trying to fly to Phoenix and had a 9mm Beretta gun with him. It was also loaded. That shocked everyone again. Most people know you can't bring a gun on a plane, even if it's for a short flight. But Lawrence told the police he didn't know that. He thought it was okay to carry guns on flights between states. That sounded hard to believe, especially from someone as famous as him. Still, the police did not charge him for that incident, which surprised many people. But it didn't end there. Lawrence was also involved in a fight at a nightclub. He got into an argument with a man while dancing. Lawrence said the man bumped into him, and he got angry. Instead of walking away, he punched the man. Again, no charges were filed, but people were beginning to talk. They started to wonder if Lawrence had deeper problems. These back-to-back problems showed something was clearly wrong. Some people thought he just had bad luck. Others thought he needed serious help. His behavior was changing, and it seemed like he couldn't stay out of trouble. Not only was Lawrence having trouble in public, but his home life was also falling apart. He was married to a woman named Patricia, but things between them were not going well. According to People magazine, Patricia said Lawrence was acting violent and strange. She said he was doing things that scared her. In 1996, Lawrence filed for divorce, but Patricia had already taken legal steps to protect herself. She got a restraining order, which is a court paper that says someone must stay away from another person. She said Lawrence had threatened to kill her. In her divorce papers, Patricia said Lawrence had called her on the phone. She claimed he told her, "You'll pay for what you've done to my family." That was already very scary. But the next day, she said things got even worse. She said he told her, "I'm going to have to kill you. I'm going to have to kill your family." After that, Patricia said she found a note slipped under her door. It wasn't signed, but she believed it came from Lawrence. At the same time all of this was happening in his personal life, there were problems at work too. Lawrence was the star of a TV show called Martin.
I said, Mama used to say, take your time, young man.
His co-star on the show, Tisha Campbell, played his wife on screen. In real life, things were not so friendly. In January 1997, Tisha said she couldn't take it anymore. She said the work conditions were intolerable. She walked off the set and refused to come back. The company that made the show, HBO, tried to force her to return by taking legal action, but she fought back. She said Lawrence had touched her in ways she didn't want and had said bad things to her. She filed a lawsuit against him for sexual harassment.
I love you.
That lawsuit was later settled outside of court. That means they agreed to keep things quiet and not take it to trial. Even though the public never got all the details, the situation was serious. Tisha did return to finish the last few episodes of the show, and then the series ended in May. At the time, Lawrence told people the show ended because he wanted it to. He told Variety magazine that he decided to leave on his own.
I'm leaving, man. You know, things ain't gonna be the same without you.
Years later, in 2020, Lawrence told GQ magazine the same thing. He said, "People said that I got canceled, but that wasn't the case. I decided to just leave the show." But Tisha Campbell was later asked about this on the talk show The Talk. She said she couldn't say much because of legal rules, but she seemed surprised by what Lawrence said. She didn't exactly agree with him. "I was actually kind of shocked," she said. Now let's look at how this connects to another star, Sean Diddy Combs.
For a second, you don't know who I am and what I do. Let's just put it to the side.
Both Martin Lawrence and Diddy were famous black men in the entertainment world, but both faced serious troubles. Diddy has also been involved in some dangerous and troubling situations. In recent years, Diddy has been accused of abuse and violence in his personal relationships. Like Martin, people close to Diddy say he can be controlling and unpredictable. In both cases, there were people around them who may have helped hide their problems instead of helping them heal. Fame, money, and power can sometimes bring stress and pressure. Both men were surrounded by people who wanted to keep the money flowing, even if the star was not doing well. When it comes to his TV show, Martin made people laugh all over the world.
What?
You ain't say you love me back.
He had a special way of making jokes that felt real and funny at the same time. One person who has always looked up to him is comedian Dave Chappelle. In an interview, Dave said Martin's life gave him hope. Martin came from Washington, D.C., and made it all the way to Hollywood.
Lawrence is the guy that showed everybody you can make it from D.C. to Hollywood.
That showed Dave that someone from his own city could make it too. Martin didn't come from money, and he didn't have a famous family. He worked hard, stayed focused, and believed in himself. That kind of story meant a lot to Dave. It made him believe that he could do the same.
I had a personal stake in his success. Every time he did something, it made me feel inspired and really good.
Dave and Martin got to work together in the movie Blue Streak. That was a special time for Dave. He got to see Martin up close, not just as a fan, but as someone working beside him. They laughed a lot, had fun during filming, and went on trips to promote the movie. Dave said Martin treated him like a big brother. He would call Dave and check on him. He gave advice and showed kindness. That meant a lot to Dave. He saw that Martin was not just funny, but also a good person who cared about others. But not long after that, something scary happened to Martin. He had a stroke, and it was almost fatal. A stroke is when something goes wrong in your brain, and it can make you very sick, or even die. Thankfully, Martin survived. When Dave visited him, Martin still made jokes. He laughed and said it was the best sleep he ever had. That made Dave smile. It also showed how strong Martin was. Even after something so serious, he found a way to laugh. That's the kind of person Martin is. Tough, funny, and never giving up.
And Martin had a stroke. He almost died. And then after that, I saw him, and I was like, oh my God, Martin, are you okay? And he said, I got the best sleep I ever got in my life. That's how tough he is.
However, things didn't stay good for long. One day, Martin was seen on the street yelling and waving a gun. He was shouting, "They're trying to kill me!" This shocked everyone. Dave didn't know what to think. How could someone so strong, smart, and talented act like that? It made Dave stop and think about Hollywood. He started to wonder if the world of fame was doing something bad to people. Why did it seem like so many stars were breaking down?
Let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, they are trying to kill me?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Dave talked about other stars too. He remembered when singer Mariah Carey had a breakdown. He also spoke about his own experience. Dave felt so much pressure that he left the country and went to Africa. He said people call stars crazy too quickly. He doesn't like that word. He believes people like Martin aren't crazy. They are just going through something hard. Dave thinks the problem might not be the person, but the world they are living in, Hollywood.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you.
Fame is not easy. Some people think it is all fun and money, but that's not always true. For Martin, fame hit him like a big storm. Some people said he lost control. Even his close friends noticed a change.
But Martin, unfortunately, show business at a certain point in his life got the best of him. And when that happens, you see it happening. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Steve White, who once lived with Martin and wrote for The Martin Show, said Martin was like Mike Tyson. He said Martin had a big heart, but was misunderstood. That's a deep thing to say. It means that Martin would do anything for someone he cared about, but people didn't always see that side of him. Another person who noticed the change was Jamie Masada. He owns a comedy club called The Laugh Factory in Los Angeles. He said that once Martin became famous, he changed. He started walking around with bodyguards and acting different. Jamie said fame got to Martin's head. Some people can handle fame well, but others have a hard time. Even Martin said in an interview that fame was very hard. He said he thought he was ready for it, but he wasn't.
The network has a lot to do with that as well. They take care of the star, and then everybody else is a piece of shit. that's just how it goes down. And you embrace being a piece of shit.
Martin spoke about how his life was falling apart. He said he was working too much, his marriage was failing, and he wasn't sleeping enough. He also admitted that his temper and drinking caused problems. But he's been trying to change. He said he's learning to stay calm and not let things get out of hand. He still talks to his ex-wife Patricia because they share a daughter, Jasmine. That shows he's trying to do the right thing for his family. Some people said Martin went to rehab, but he said that's not true. He said he only went for one day and realized he needed to fix things on his own. He didn't want to depend on a program. He said, "The flip side of having nothing to lose is having something to gain. That means when you've lost everything, you can still rebuild and grow stronger." Martin knows he's not just living for himself. Then, in August 1999, Martin went through something very serious. It was a health scare that almost ended his life. At the time, Martin's career was going great. He had many fans, and he was getting ready for a new movie. He wanted to lose some weight before filming, so he thought jogging would help. Like many people, he believed running would make him healthier. But Martin made a very dangerous mistake without knowing it. On a very hot summer day, he decided to go jogging. To sweat more and lose weight faster, he wore several layers of clothes under a nylon jogging suit. This was a very bad idea because the temperature outside was already very high, and the extra clothes made it worse. As Martin ran in the heat, his body couldn't handle it. His body temperature started rising very fast. Normally, the human body stays around 98 degrees. But as Martin kept running in all those clothes, his body temperature went up to 107 degrees. That is very dangerous. At this point, the body begins to shut down. Martin collapsed from heat stroke. This means his body overheated and could no longer function normally. He passed out and could not wake up. People quickly called an ambulance and he was rushed to the hospital. Doctors were very worried. They put him on a machine to help him breathe. His condition was critical, which means he was close to death.
Yeah, it was that bad, huh? Yeah, man, because everything breaks down. Your function, nothing don't work no more. Your balls go to flat. Everything breaks down.
Martin fell into a coma. A coma is when a person becomes unconscious and doesn't respond to anything. It's like being asleep, but you can't wake up. For 3 long days, Martin stayed in this deep sleep. His family and friends were scared. The doctors didn't know if he would survive. But after 3 days, something amazing happened. Martin woke up. He was still weak, but he was alive. Slowly, he started to get better. Over time, he fully recovered. It was a miracle that he came back from such a dangerous situation. After this happened, Martin felt like his whole life had changed.
You ring the bell, you call the nurse when you got, I on my child. They just look at you like, you nasty.
In a 2002 interview, Martin spoke about what he learned from the coma. He said something very deep. "I felt like, in the coma, God laid me down and woke me up to be able to see a lot more clearly." He believed that God gave him another chance at life. He said it humbled him. That means it made him feel more thankful and less proud. He started to appreciate the small things in life. He realized that life is short and can change in a moment. After that experience, Martin didn't take anything for granted. He became more careful with his health and more grateful for each day.
How many days? About 3 days. God, yeah. For real, man. But you know what? I gotta tell you, some of the best sleep I ever had.
Many years later, Martin also shared the story in a funny way. He was on a talk show with Conan O'Brien. Even though the story was scary, Martin found a way to joke about it. He said, "So please, I recommend, do not run in a plastic suit." He laughed as he told people how he picked the hottest day of the summer to go jogging. Then, the next thing he knew, he was lying on the ground. Even though it was a serious lesson, he used humor to warn others not to make the same mistake. His fans appreciated his honesty and his ability to laugh about it later. Fast forward to 2024, and Martin Lawrence was once again in the spotlight, but this time for a different reason. A video clip started going around online from the movie premiere of Bad Boys: Ride or Die.
You need to check with that before you out here choosing.
In the video, Martin was standing on top of a double-decker bus with his co-star Will Smith. Will was full of energy and rapping to the crowd, but Martin looked a bit off. He seemed unsteady and not fully focused. This made some fans worry. People started spreading rumors that Martin had suffered a stroke. They were concerned about his health and began talking about it on social media. To clear things up, Martin went on a radio show called Ebro in the Morning on Hot 97. The host, Ebro Darden, asked Martin if he was okay because the fans were really worried. Martin explained that he didn't have a stroke. He said the reason he looked off in the video was because he was shocked by the huge crowd. "I was like, oh, this is rock concert stuff," he said. He had not expected so many people to show up. The energy and noise surprised him, and that's why he seemed out of it for a moment. Ebro also asked Martin if he wanted to say anything to his fans who were concerned. Martin was calm and kind. He told everyone, "I'm fine. I'm in God's hands. I'm blessed. I'm glad to be waking up every day." He wanted to remind people that he was doing well. He also wanted to stop the false rumors. He didn't want anyone to worry for no reason. Martin knew people cared, but he also wanted the truth to be known. Some fans still felt unsure. They remembered Martin's past health scare, and that made them extra worried. Back in 1999, he collapsed from heat stroke and was in a coma for 3 days. People thought something similar might have happened again. Also, Martin was preparing for his role in Big Mama's house during that time, and it required him to wear heavy costumes. After that old incident, doctors said he had exhaustion. So, fans knew he had been through tough times before. Others thought Martin looked sad or tired. One reason might be that he was still grieving the loss of his brother. Sometimes sadness can show on a person's face, even if they try to hide it. One fan pointed out that Martin had already said he was going through a tough time. They asked people to be kind and not jump to conclusions. In the same radio interview, Martin finally said with a smile, "I'm healthy as hell. Stop the rumors." He wanted people to stop making up stories and believe that he was okay.